Hey there YouTube, it's Beautiful Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the first of this month's Korean toy reviews. And today I've got the first figure from a new toy line. Well, it's not technically new. It's like a reboot or a rehash of an older toy line. It's got like a new lick of paint, new cartoon series, and some brand new toy molds of robots that feature in the series. Now, the series I'm referring to is Tobot from Young Toys. Now, Tobots has been going for a long time. It started in the early 2000s, and it's been going for a long time, and it's gone through various iterations. You had the original Tobot series, then you had Tobot Athlon, then you had the Tobot Victory or Tobot V, and that ended, what was it, last year, and now it's gone full circle. Now it's gone back to the original Tobot series, and they've done a reboot, or a soft reboot if you like, because it is technically canon or linked to the original Tobot series. It's just been brought up to date with the same characters, but the Tobots themselves have got nice shiny new alt modes and robot modes, and they're just bringing it up to date. And from what I've seen of the TV show, it actually looks pretty good, even though I haven't actually seen any whole episodes yet. But from what clips I've seen, I'm quite impressed with the show so far from what I've seen of it, even though it's all in Korean and there's no English dub or subtitles as yet. But Young Toys do dub their shows or do their shows in English eventually, unlike Sonocon unlike, Choi Rock, who don't, with the Hello Carbot toy line. They've never done an English dub of Hello Carbot as far as I'm aware. I've never seen one. Tobot, yeah, eventually they'll do an English dub or a subtitle version, so yeah. Anyway, before I show you the toy, let's have a look at the box. So here is the box. It is, of course, Tobot X, and this is, well, like I say, it's a new toy line for 2023, so I'm going to refer to these as Tobot 2023 Tobot X, because it's a brand new version of the Tobot series. Here we got Tobot X, Y, and Z. They're the three figures that have come out in Wave 1. There's pictures of him on the back of the box. Picture of his alt mode, the Hyundai Ioniqs. Yes, that's the other thing. Tobots are now licensed Hyundai, or should I say Hyundai. Yeah, I'm sorry I fall into that trap of saying pronouncing the name wrong, because I'm English and I look at the word and I see Hyundai. Now I split the word up into syllables, and Hyundai, and it's a common trait with us in Britain, but it's Hyundai. And if I say Hyundai, I'm sorry, it's old habits. I know it should be Hyundai, but you know what I mean. Anyway, they're licensed to Hyundai now, whereas before originally they were licensed to Kia. So that's kind of strange. So now, Hello Carbot, the other toy line that I was a fan of, they were originally licensed. All their alt modes were licensed to Hyundai products, like this guy here, Hello Carbot Santa Fe Ace, and you can see he's got this lovely scale model of a Hyundai Santa Fe, or Hyundai Santa Fe. I'm going to fall into that trap quite a lot. And this is actually a scale model. It's a 1/22nd scale of the real world vehicle. And that's that. Now, I've got a lot of props for this video, so it might drag on for a bit. And then obviously you've got Hawk, Hyundai Grandeur. And that is a 1/23rd scale. And you can see it's a beautiful rendition of the vehicle. Scale model, properly proportioned, love it. And then we've got Fron with a Hyundai Avanti, again accurately proportioned alt mode, scale model. This time it's a 1/21st scale model. And Veloster Sky, that unusual sort of three-door coupe that they did, the Hyundai Veloster. It's got two doors on one side, one door on the other. But yeah, that's what is it? That's a 1/20th scale alt mode. And the guy that started it all for me, Hello Carbot Starix Dandy. Hyundai Starex 1/23rd scale. They call the i800 in the UK these vans, but yeah, this is the guy that started This is the guy that started my craze for collecting Korean figures. This is number one for me, and him. And I've also got Pony Meister, same deal. Genesis Born, same thing. And Sonata Arty. So you get the idea. They're all licensed Hyundai models. They've all got the badges on, apart from Pony, who's got the older style Hyundai badge. So yeah, you get the idea. They're all licensed alt modes. That's what they did for the original season. Then when they did season, so I've got the bots from seasons 1 and 2 there. Then after that, they did away with the license and just started doing random sort of vehicles, which are sort of weren't quite to my taste, because I really like the scale model side of these Hyundai alt modes. Then you look at the alt mode on this thing. Actually, I haven't quite finished with the box. Yeah, I showed you the box. Got sidetracked with you know, the alt mode, product information on the bottom, and obviously, yeah, it's got the Hyundai logo on the bottom. Comes with instructions, double-sided sheet, lots of steps. Show you how to transform it in both directions, so that's handy. And another thing these come with, they come with a stand. It's like a little cardboard plinth that you can put the figure on, kind of like those backdrops you get with Studio Series figures, you know, from Transformers. Similar sort of deal. It's just a cardboard box that you can, you know, plonk your figure on if you want to display it. So that's great. Now, getting back to what I was saying about licensed alt modes, Tobot now got the license for Hyundai vehicles, and Tobot X is now this, a Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's a hatchback that's electric that Hyundai have just bought out. They are in the UK now, these cars. Now you look at this vehicle and you look at its proportions. You look how sort of squished and, you know, rounded it is, and the fact it's got these comically huge wheels on it. And that's the problem with not Hello Carbot. That's the problem with Tobot. They did this with the alt modes. Even though they've got the license for the alt modes, they make them look like toys rather than models. And I'm sure it's an acquired taste, or it's an aesthetic choice that they did. But yeah, even though the alt mode looks good, it looks like the car it's supposed to be. It's not a accurately scaled or proportioned representation of the car it's supposed to be, and that's what I don't like that, to be honest. I'm not a fan of that. It's a good solid car. It plugs together very well. It's got huge wheels which are pinned and they roll very well. Underneath, obviously, you know, scrunched up robot bits. But the alt mode looks really good. It's nice and solid. It's got a decent weight to it. It rolls really well on these large wheels. It's got the Tobot X logo there. It's got Tobot X logo there. Hyundai badge there, and another one there. So yeah, there's the alt mode. Like I said, not a fan of the toyetic, you know, chibified proportions of this thing. Really not a fan of that. But it does look like the car that it's supposed to represent. Does a decent job of that. Anyway, so I've gone on enough about the aesthetic cues, or you know, the aesthetic form of the alt mode. let's go into the robot mode. Now the robot on this is actually looks really, really good, and it's the reason why when I decided to dip into the Tobot 2023 toy line, I decided to go for X first instead of going for the other two figures, Y and Z. So transforming this guy, quite simple. So you start off, pull the doors out, and they just sort of fold forwards like that. Then the legs, you separate and pull out the rear of the vehicle. And then you've got the feet, fold the feet out, and then you've got the heel spurs which come out as well. And split the legs. Just straighten them up. Turn him round. Then unclip the roof, twizzle it round and plug it in. Then you bring, well, you pull the arms out now. Like so. Bring them down. Flip out the fists. Then bring down the hood. And then just split it slightly to form the chest. And there we have Tobot 2023 Tobot X in his robot mode, and he looks really, really good. I really like the aesthetic on the robot mode for this guy. Alt mode not so much, but the robot mode does look really, really good. It's quite clean. You know, he's got a nice breakup of the colour. He's got like the original orange colour coming through. Now, yeah, obviously this is his new form. This is X's 2023 form, but X hasn't always looked like this. Now, originally he looked like this. Now, this isn't the original full-size toy. This is a mini version of it, but it's a representation of his original form, and he transformed into a Kia Soul, you know, so people carrier thing. And this is the mini version. Now mine's been modified. Mine's got a working elbow, which, because if you look on the other arm, which I haven't modified, it's solid. So yeah, I gave him a working elbow. But yeah, so that's his original form. So there's a. If I bring that forwards, you can sort of get an idea of what he looked like originally to his new form. Then they had what's called the Adventure form. You know, in one of the later series of the original Tobot series, they got sort of like rescans. They got damaged and then they got rebuilt into new forms. And so X got this guy. Tobot Evolution X. So this is his second form. Now, this thing is a bit of a brick. It hasn't got much articulation, especially in the arms. The arms, you've got these elbows which barely move. You know, his arms barely move. His alt mode is based on a concept car, I believe. It was a Kia Soul concept car. It's a lot more bulbous than the original alt mode on this version. It looks good, but it's articulation's not great on this, especially in the upper part of the body. You know, it's got no waist joint. It has got a head rotation, but the arms just barely move, and the ratchets like seize up on the arms, and it's not great. So there he is next to his Evolution version, and I can put these directly side by side because they're the same scale, and you can see how much bigger this version is than the that one. So yeah, this is quite a chunky boy, even if he doesn't do a lot. And then his third iteration is this one, Adventure X. So this is what, again, later series of the show. Got another rescan, reformat, or whatever you call, into this version. Again, it's based on the Kia Soul. Slightly more realistic looking alt mode on this one, but it's got all these sort of off-roady, sort of adventuring type things on it, like bull bars and roof racks, and he has these accessories that you can plug on. And that's his. That was the last sort of iteration of Tobot X, and then obviously here is later one. Now this guy is quite a bit bigger, again, because they are downscaling their toys from what they used to make. But there's a comparison with Tobot Adventure X. So I've got other versions of X's, you know, sort of robot modes, alt modes. But what about this one? Well, aesthetically it looks really good. I love the look of this thing. It looks fantastic. You know, a nice breakup of colours. Not so much of the orange, because I mean his alt mode is largely beige. So I'm kind of getting Chrome Dome vibes from his colours and aesthetic on this guy. And there's another reason why I would be thinking that, because these new Tobots are headmasters, basically, because they have a little gimmick. You pull that up, pull that out, and then you can take this guy out. You flip open his head, flip round his face, and there's a little robot dude. They've got this this little gimmick. So this is Tobot X's, you know, sort of core form, so to speak. He's got his original core is inside the chest, but he's now got like a little robot mode around it. And I love this. I like this idea. I think this is really cool. So when they're in the garage with the rest of the guys, they're sort of wandering around these little mini robot forms. That's pretty cool. It's a great little gimmick. I mean, it's fairly well detailed. It's got a head rotation. It's got ball jointed arms that got a little bit of motion, and that's about it. There's nothing on the feet. Decently painted and moulded. It's a great little thing. I kind of like the gimmick they've got with these little robot dudes. But like I said, it just plugs in. You just fold the arms around the back, and then you plug it into position, and you can have like his baby face on the robot mode, but really you want to have the more serious looking, you know, sort of robot face. Because that looks a lot better. So yeah, they've got that gimmick with these little robot dudes that come out, and all three of them have the same sort of gimmick, so you can swap and change them into, you know, a different core, into a different body. So they're headmasters now. So that's interesting. And like I said, I am getting a kind of a Chrome Dome vibe out of this guy because of that. But anyway, articulation. What's the articulation like on this? Now, I have to say this. Young Toys and the Tobots aren't the most articulated toys. They've never have been. They've always been a bit basic when it comes to articulation. And sadly, this guy's no exception. He has got a head rotation, which is good. Shoulders, ratcheted. You've got this link here, which means you can go, the arm can move in and out, and then it can go up on that joint there. So you've got those joints there. Right. No bicep swivels. Young Toys, Tobots, they don't do bicep swivels. 90-degree elbow bend on soft ratchet with 2 clicks. 1, 2. Nothing at the waist. Again, Young Toys, Tobot figure, they don't do waist joints. Hips. Now, the backpack gets in the way, but you can flip it round and get a bit more clearance. Hips ratcheted. It go forwards that far because it hits there on the waist, and then you can make it go back. No thigh swivels. Again, Young Toys, Tobots don't do thigh swivels. Now he has got double jointed knees because of the transformation. So you've got a joint there, and then you've got another joint lower down. So he can kick back quite far. So he's got a decent range on his knees due to those two joints. And the feet, no ankle tilts, because, you know, Young Toys, Tobots, they don't do ankle tilts, but they do have the ankles cut at an angle, so that, you know, you can get, a neutral A stance when they're not on a flat surface. So yeah, there we go. I'm disappointed again, slightly disappointed in that in 2023, Young Toys couldn't have worked in some extra articulation joints to bring them up to, you know, sort of modern day articulation standards like you get on Transformers, for instance. Sonocon, or, you know, Choi Rock, or the Hello Carbot toy line, they have thigh swivels pretty much as standard. There's a lot of Tobot figures that don't even have a head rotation. Yeah, for instance, this guy, no head rotation, but, you know, he's got, and his arms, yeah, the joints on this guy are a bit weird as well. So yeah, they're known for having weird joints, and this guy's no exception. Now, there is something I want to say about this thing before I wrap up. And if you look at his arm right here, you can see there's a very thin bit of plastic right here. Because if I pull that out, you can see here, look, that bit of plastic right there, just above the elbow, is super, super thin. See it? See it there? Just here. Just above the elbows. Slightly worrying there. I mean, it's a very thin, it's two pieces of plastic that have been sandwiched together to form the pivot for the elbow. But it's a very thin bit of plastic, and I'm worried that, you know, when you're articulating this, it's going to, I mean, plastic ages over time and becomes brittle, and that's just the nature of the beast. I'm worried that these joints might snap in due time, so I'm a little concerned about that. What is my general impression of this thing? Well, I've pointed out a number of issues that I have with this figure. The alt mode not being properly proportioned, even though it's officially licensed. That's a big E for me. Robot mode looks good. Let down by, you know, basic articulation. They didn't go, you know, put extra articulation joints on it, unfortunately. That's very, very disappointing. A slight weakness in the design on the elbows there, but robot mode looks good. It's a good solid figure. The plastic quality is really good on it. I love the little mini robot dude for the like the headmaster robot dude they've got going on for the little core robots. That's a good gimmick. I like that. That's really good. It's all right. It's okay. And it's my first foray into this new 2023, you know, Tobot toy line. I'm going to be getting the other two at some point. Maybe not right away, because, I mean, this guy was, how much was he? He was expensive. Hang on. just under 65 quid to get this guy out of G Market. I got it from Global H Mall. But again, it's the shipping, it's the FedEx shipping that just kills it. I mean, they're asking now like over 35 quid for postage. You know, and it's like over half what it cost to buy this thing to get it shipped from the other side of the world. And I just wish there wasn't somebody out there, you know, like there's that Buy company that does that proxy buying service for Japan, where people can buy, Japanese exclusive items and then get them shipped to their, to the US or the UK or Europe or whatever, and they can buy stuff from Japanese websites at cost and then get them shipped over for a small fee. Why can't do something like that for South Korea? Because I would definitely appreciate it if some company was to set up a proxy buying service from Korea, so I can buy my Korean toys at cost and then get them shipped at a reasonable rate to me at home. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see, because in recent years, because of COVID and Brexit and all that stuff, the price of these things has gone through the roof. And if I was to buy this off eBay, you'd be lucky to get change at 100 quid for this figure. Really, you would. The prices these go for on eBay now, it's ridiculous. But as for buying them off, 11th Street and G Market, you pay your money and take your choice. They're not cheap to import, even for me. And I'm a sucker for buying these things. I pay through the nose for them. But even I have limits on how much I'm prepared to spend on buying these figures. When it starts getting over the £70 mark, I start getting twitchy. That's too much for something of this sort of size and calibre. But anyway, so I've got this guy. He's got issues, yeah, but overall I quite like him. His robot mode looks really good, and it's one of the better looking sort of Tobot X figures we've had. And I will be, like I said, I will be looking to get the other two, and hopefully this new Tobot 2023 toy line will produce more molds. I'm really hoping for a new Tobot C. Really hoping for a new Tobot C, because I never got Tobot C from the original toy line. So yeah, I'm really hoping for one of those. But anyway, that's been my review, such as it is, of Tobot's 2023 Tobot X. He's a new figure that's come out recently, and I've got one, and that's my thoughts on it. Take it or leave it. So anyway, I've been Too Far Wilderness. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review. You sat around for 30 minutes listening to me waffle about this figure. I've got a lot of tidying up to do now, because all these Hello Carbot figures I've got out for the alt mode sort of comparison. It's I had to dig all the boxes out the cupboard and get them out, and there's a big mess of boxes in there. I've got to put them away again, and these guys I got off my top shelf in my bedroom, and they've been sat on there for years, and they were covered in dust, and I had to give them a good thorough dusting before I used them. So yeah, I will be going to the NEC Toy Fair tomorrow, so I'll be there if you want to come and say hello. I always do an early bird ticket, so I get there for about 8 o'clock, and I walk around while they're still setting up, and I usually depart around about sort of 10, half 10, when the rest of the main crowd's coming in. But yeah, I'm doing NEC Toy Fair tomorrow, and so yeah, that's it for this review. And obviously got a little mini Carbot figure to do next week. That'll be a fairly straightforward small stuff review. So with that said, I've been Too Far Wilderness. I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.